Hi, and welcome to our Decision 2020 special, At Home with Cal Cunningham. Every election cycle, voters are bombarded with accusations and statistics and promises from and about candidates. Tonight, we want to push all of that aside and introduce you to one of the candidates behind all of that noise. Democratic hopeful Cal Cunningham is looking to oust North Carolina's current sitting U.S. Senator. So we wanted to get to know more about him and his life and what has made him the person that he is today. We went home with Cal Cunningham. We went home with Senator Tillis. So we went home with Roy Cooper. So we went home with Lieutenant Governor Forrest and put aside the issues for the evening. Dan Forrest has called North Carolina home for most of his life, moving to the Queen City at a very young age. He says for him, growing up was all about being outdoors and playing sports, something that continued into high school. Once he got to college, he found his passion, architecture. Upon graduation, he stayed with the same company for his entire career, ending as a senior partner. Forrest grew up in a political household. His mother, Sue Myrick, served as Charlotte mayor and later as a member of Congress. He says he had no political aspirations, but that changed.
My name is Dan Forrest, and I want to be your next lieutenant governor.
He gave up his career and decided to run for lieutenant governor.
We need to eliminate the corporate income tax rate.
He won and then won re-election again 4 years later. Now he has a new goal.
Today, I officially announce my candidacy for governor of the great state of North Carolina.
As a conservative Christian, Forrest has run grassroots campaigns speaking directly to voters, all in an effort, he says, to help out his fellow North Carolinians across the state.
It's really interesting because my wife and I, Alice, we've talked about that numerous times, and she has memories from being really young, and I really don't. My earliest ones are really with my grandparents, and so I can remember back being like about 3 years old and being at my grandparents' house. They lived up in Ohio, and being on their farm up in Ohio, and that's kind of what I remember the most is those kind of memories, and big family types of memories.
It was also during his time at the legislature where he met his wife, Kristen. She joined our conversation.
I think we got to know each other over the summer. We had an interim committee, a special study committee. This one was auto salvage titles.
Very romantic.
At what point is your car such a wreck that you have to put that on the title? So it was like something out of a Hallmark movie, I have to say. Auto
salvage title. Absolutely. It just doesn't get much better than that.
What'd you do for your first date?
The old Darrell's.
Yeah, we went to the Darrell's.
The old Darrell's on Hillsborough Street. So it was very interesting.
And for a couple of years, he tried to get the same table on our anniversary. We
right.
Go back, but then they kept reconfiguring things.
Who was the disciplinarian?
Me.
She says that without hesitation.
You didn't hesitate.
No, I mean, I'll say we try to pair up on things, and we're not out of step, but I'll say I'm kind of the one who keeps an eye on things.
We had Caroline while I was serving in the state Senate, and the way I even thought about legislation and the questions coming in front of the legislature almost transformed overnight. The very profound sense that we're doing in this moment, not just for each other, but there's a responsibility to a next generation that doesn't even appreciate what's going on around her. In the case of Caroline, him, when Will came along, the very profound sense that we have an obligation to that next generation to make the world a better place for them. That sense of stewardship, that sense of mission, I think became very, very deeply personal.
Regardless of what the outcome is.
Thom Tillis is no stranger to North Carolinians these days, serving 4 terms in the state house. Half of that time as the Speaker of the House.
Washington has completely lost touch with working Americans.
Then it was on to new challenges, taking on incumbent U.S. Senator Kay Hagan in 2014 to become North Carolina's junior senator in Congress. But Tillis's path to elected office was one that started many years before. The middle child in a family of 6 siblings, the Tillises moved around a lot as he was growing up. In fact, by the time he was 17, his family had moved 20 times. But for Tillis, he says, his childhood and his upbringing is what has made him the man that he is today.
Going to a different school every elementary year. So I went to 5 different schools or 5 different school openings. I returned to 1, so 4 different ones on 5 different occasions, and then 3 different middle schools. So that was a constant in my life. There was a change. Our family moved frequently. I have 5 brothers and sisters, so there was that change, and it's something I actually thrived in.
Were you a mama's boy or were you a daddy's boy?
Definitely mama's boy. I love my dad. We had a great relationship, but I'm still a mama's boy. My mom will be 88 years old in October. I talk with her frequently, but all my brothers and sisters kid me about that because I always wanted to be around Mom.
Tillis says with all the moving around the country and all of the new schools to make new friends in, the one thing that remained constant was that he and his siblings were always close.
We were, and a part of that's because we moved so much. So by the time I was 16, we moved 7 times, and that's when all of my brothers and sisters were still together. So the one constant that we had was our family. My brothers are 2 of my best friends. My sister, my older sister, and I call her my older sister. She's only 2 years older than me, and they have 2 older sisters. But we're all still close. We get together at Thanksgiving and special occasions and what we call Family Fest, and still stay pretty close.